Journey Through Parenthood with Martina Bills.
Brought to you by Southern Ohio Medical Center. Very good things are happening here.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Martina Bills. Thanks for joining us here on the WSAZ Now desk for Journey Through Parenthood on this Monday, the first Monday in the month of September. And it is Labor Day. So hopefully you guys are enjoying a day off. I know all the kids are home. So if you are able to enjoy that day with your children at home, please do so. Today, September marks Suicide Awareness Month. So we are actually talking to a family medicine doctor with Valley Health Systems, Dr. Michael Amos, about how to discuss suicide with your teenagers, whether they're feeling down and you're just not sure what's going on with them, or maybe they're having a friend that is kind of having some suicidal thoughts. A little bit about how to encompass this conversation, because it is a very difficult conversation to be had, but it is very necessary.
Sometimes it can actually be even as easy as just asking, "Are you okay?" When parents approach their teens, I think that the big things that we want to keep in mind is to keep an open mind and to start a dialogue so that they can be honest and open about what they're feeling and how their mind is going through things right now.
How can a teenager offer another friend support if they are struggling? Because I know that's kind of a tough subject to go across, and they may be really concerned about someone, but where do they start with that?
The big thing that I want teens to realize with their friends is just noticing signs that their friend could be considering it even. So, especially on the back of big things like if they were failing in school or being bullied or abused, these things can lead to suicidal thoughts starting to creep in. And so it's going to be open to the students to make sure that they're feeling out and staying close to their friends to make sure that they know how they're feeling, and maybe considering suicide at that time. The other big thing to remember is to always make sure that you bring in an adult. Finding the hope for people is through getting an adult connected so that they can connect the student or their friend to resources available through counseling or the physicians or whoever might be an adult around.
And Dr. Amos, what would you say about some more elaborating on those signs that someone may be struggling that may not be as easy to see as others, but the signs are there?
Yes, yes. And so first the you start to read people and you see that they have a sense of hopelessness. In school, they could be down on their grades and just not thinking that it's going to come together. So hopelessness, worthlessness is another kind of attribute that comes from that. A withdrawal actually from friends and activities. So if one day you have a friend that you never were able to get rid of and always did things together, and then they weren't having so much to do with you anymore, overall, that could start to be some of those signs that we could be a little bit worried about. And then, of course, if they share suicidal thinking and behaviors such as cutting, it would be very important to bring in resources at that time.
And I know that when you're talking about this kind of issue, some people may be dwelling on an issue that other people may not think as that big of a deal. How do you really get that point across that some people really just are affected differently by different situations, and it may be more of an issue with some, but you may not think it's an issue?
Whenever things are starting to seem like suicide is coming into the picture for whatever reason it is, it's going to be to take it seriously. Even cutting behavior, some people could misinterpret that sometimes as a stress reliever for them, but it's a short step before they could maybe possibly start considering suicide. And so getting them help early will be essential.
Okay, Dr. Amos, let's talk about getting help, because, anytime this kind of issue is brought up or even thought to be an issue, the help is so necessary. Elaborate on that and really where people can turn for help.
Yes. And so I thought through There's five main things that I'm going to look at for people to turn to for help. Um, the biggest one here in the state of West Virginia, we have gone live with the Suicide Prevention Hotline, which is 988. Of course, everybody knows 911 for emergencies, but for mental health emergencies, suicide, 988 is where you want to turn. And so people can dial that from their phone and get help and get connected with people to help them if they're having suicidal thoughts right in that moment. Longer term, of course, then you can talk to your local physician, whoever that might be for you that's providing care, or just walk into a physician's office. And if they can help you there, that would be the best thing. Um, the other places that I highlight that we can have young people to turn would be to trusted adults, parents, and friends. From there, they can get help and get connected with resources. The biggest thing is going to work to try to talk someone down right when they're having the suicidal thoughts, but then making sure that we're keeping them safe for a period and we're transitioning them to care, whether it be with a therapist or medication. Getting them help through care is also going to be very paramount.
So, discussing suicide with teenagers, young adults, it is Suicide Prevention Month, and we wanted to highlight this just because it is a tough conversation to have. And if you really know of someone who just seems off, they're really not doing things like they used to be doing, or they're starting to harm themselves, or really closing themselves off to those they love and usually are with. It's really time to open that conversation, the doors to that conversation. And Dr. Michael Amos with Valley Health Systems is a family medicine doctor, and his ideas were all really good because getting help is the most important part of this whole cycle of having suicidal thoughts. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is now nationwide. All you have to do is dial 988 from your phone. You can also text that number, and there are counselors available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week across the United States, no matter where you live, that can help you right then in that moment. So that lifeline is just the 988 number, and it will really help someone. And if you have someone that you believe needs help, you can also use that number, and they will help you find the right help for the person struggling with suicidal thoughts. So a lot of good information from Dr. Michael Amos, because suicide is not an easy topic to discuss. But I felt like it was important to discuss, how you can kind of relate to your teenagers, your young adults in your house, how they can help a friend who might be struggling, that they see might be pulling out of social situations, just not acting like themselves, and how they as a friend can help someone else who may be in need of some pretty serious help. Here on Journey Through Parenthood, you can always reach out to me on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you have a story idea you'd like to see covered here on Journey Through Parenthood, just let me know, and we'll try to set something up with that topic to get the word out, because you never know who else may be looking for that kind of information as well. We hope you enjoy this Labor Day, and we'll be back here on Wednesday at 10 a.m.